Well, this is our way to look at the labor market. The base industry is those employments that allocate money from outside our region. It could be export, it could be some other, but it's money coming into the city. And for every working place in the base industry that provides, or it makes one public service and one private service more, you see? So if we have, in our case, the base industry is in nowadays almost half of it is in IT and telecom sector. And that means that 1/3 of the tax income comes from that sector. And that provides the city with one job in the public service, in school, in healthcare, and whatever, and private service in shops, restaurant, whatever. And this is the tax amount that is going to make us able to take care of those who is not in the labor market, not active in the labor market. The old, the young, the children, and those who can't work of some reason. And this is a way to look at it that makes us very much focus on our strength instead of looking at who is not able to participate. We're looking at the strength and building on that. So back to the history and the military sites. This journey has been during so many years, as I said. The island of Stumholmen was kind of a huge, in a whole island that was closed for the public. It was only military. It was they had all the kind of warehouse, they had for shipping facilities, they had a prison, and so on. The whole island is regenerated for residential use, a lot of wonderful flats, and it's for everyone. Some of them are expensive, but it's very mixed. There are schools, there is a naval museum, businesses, daycare, schools, as I said, a special school for new media by the name of Hyper Island. The battalion Sparre was a huge battalion, and there is not only the National Property Board that has an office there, it's the National Board of Housing, Building and Planning that is in that site. And this is very central in the city. The barracks of Gräsvik, there is the Blekinge Institute of Technology and University, and the technical park, so to speak, in a lot of companies. The year of 2000, the Coast Artillery was closed down because of budget cuts from the national level. It was a very hard blow, but now we have turned that area, and it's a huge area, to a mixed use as well. It's a sports camp, schools, businesses, and it's growing. In fact, now the old barracks and these facilities don't cover the needs, so they have to really build new ones to keep up with the needs of that. In the repair project, we have worked with another site, because we have many, as you can understand, and it's Blå Port. If I should translate, it will be Blue Gate. It's a gate into the city, and it's a part of the city that is between the central part and the university. So it's very essential to connect them in a proper way, so you get a good use of it. This is just some of the sites that is former military sites, and some of the new buildings within the Telecom City concept. So the focus is on growth. We have, and on that hand you see businesses, and on the other hand you see people. We have to attract businesses. We have to stimulate businesses that don't have the natural desire to grow. And that you could do by success stories, stimulate them to be a part of something that is growing. And we have to generate new ideas, new innovations, where we work a lot with the incubator for new innovations and new business ideas. When it comes to people, we think in a way that attract businesses is one thing, but it's not the company as something that take the decision of moving to a place. It's people. So you have to attract people, and that turns us into very holistic perspective on what to do. You have to have a good quality of life. You have to have a clean and beautiful city. You have to have culture, and you have to have good quality on your schools, and so forth and so forth. So at the same time as you focus on a niche, perhaps, you have to have a holistic perspective on what is the driving force for me to go to Karlskrona or another place with my family, with my company, and that's one of the key things I think. And in the incubator, we have new ideas, new applications, new business models, and some of them will stay with the company for 3 persons or something like that. So to change that attitude to be more going out, seeking new markets, that's a way when change is the change of attitude. And the change is also the attitude of those who not their everyday life isn't in the university or in the Telecom City sphere, but they must be a part of it anyway. So they are proud. Some of in the partnership we have talked a lot about how to engage people in the development. During the years we have done in Karlskrona some good things, I think, about educating or give information to taxi drivers, to bus drivers, to people working in the cafeteria at the railway station or whatever, so that they are talking about the changes in the city. And that is something that have spread a kind of self-confidence. And to educate, that is, of course, the driving force for the university, to have more students, more research. And they are working together very, very tight with the municipality and the business. When we're talking about Telecom City, everyone thinks that it's just technical issues. But it's, I think, one of the success tools in this is that within the network, the first priority is the needs. The needs, not the technique. Because if you don't have the most wonderful technique but you don't have any need for it, it's worthless. So start to look at the needs and then the business models. and then the technology. But almost always, the technology part of it is the less difficult, because to find the needs and the business models is almost always it's harder. And this works together in this way. So when I say that Telecom City was founded as a network in 1993, and the triple helix concept, we started work with that. And that's many years ago. And nothing in this world is so fast as in that branch. So the driving forces is changing, of course. When we started, you can see it was marketing, investment, research, and capital. Today, to be able to catch up all the time, you have to catch the wind. And the only thing you could do to catch the wind is to always work with kind of business intelligence. You have to know what's happening in the technology field and the demographics, where we have a driving force that really going to boost up some of the needs. The user focus, not the technique, the user focus, and to find new markets for the applications and the products that will be made in our city and our region. And all the time working with this cooperation in triple helix approach. So, effects, this is my last one. During these years, and this is just some of the things that have happened, you know that before, when the manufacturing sector was going down, it was always also very clear that the number of persons living in our city with a higher education was much, much lower than in the other cities in Sweden. What have happened since then is that we have doubled the number of people with higher education on academical level, I mean. And today we have, among the youngsters, 50% of them goes further to higher education. And the knowledge-based industries has been within these areas increasing a lot. We became Student Region of the Year some years ago, ranking among the universities in Sweden. We have in Karlskrona 150 world-leading ICT companies. 50 of them is members in the network, and they represent about 5,000. The market, I talked about the market. A lot of effort is done to make it worldwide. Telecom City is the Swedish hub for mobile technologies. And we are growing, as I said. This year we have passed the number of inhabitants so we have all-time high. The unemployment is in Karlskrona 4%, and 4% is more or less the kind of mobility you need on a labor market. Of course, we have exactly the same problem as many other, that those who are unemployed are unemployed for a very long time. So there's a skill gap, of course, a skill gap as we all have to deal with. But overall, it's 4% unemployment. And the density of ICT company is the highest in Sweden. And that's because of that niche, that focusing on something and telling we are going to be good. Not at everything, but this is going to be the thing we are going to put our efforts at. Yeah. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention.